Hello everyone. It's been a minute since I have made a video, and I realized that I probably need to check in and just show everyone kind of how things are going. And they're going good. They're going very good. We're halfway through the year, or a little bit past midway through the year, and I've been just quietly going along with life as we know it, and kind of trying to log it all as we go. So I wanted to kind of do a flip through of my memory keeper. So this is my Wonderland 222 A5 journal. I use this as a memory keeper, as I call it, my archives. And really the purpose of this is exactly that. I track what happened. I don't use it for planning at all. I use it almost like a scrapbook, of my family, of the fun things that we do, of the things that I want to remember, even if they're just little small things that really mean nothing to anybody else but me. That's kind of what I use this book for. But I wanted to show you how it's going. It's kind of become near and dear to me, honestly, if not even maybe accidentally. I admittedly am one of those people who has tried multiple journals throughout the year in multiple different fashions and ways and different sizes and all the things. I admit I've been a little bit wishy-washy, but as far as this goes, it occurred to me that I always just kind of keep coming back to this one. And the more I looked at it and the more I saw it kind of grow, and I don't really want to call it puffed up, but I guess it is kind of, it's getting there, isn't it? The more pride it gives me, and the more excited I am to have this just in my archives and to be able to go and look back at. So before I dig into this, I don't know if I've ever really introduced myself or said who I am. So my name's Wendy, and I am a mom of 2 young boys, and they keep me very, very busy. But on top of that, I also work full time. So what you see here is going to be pretty much as real as it gets. It's why I don't post regularly. I do this purely as a hobby. It's purely for fun. About 3 years ago, gosh, where are we? 2026. Yeah, I guess about 3 years ago, I, out of necessity, kind of dove into digital planning with an iPad, and I became quickly hooked. So I am a digital planner. I am a analog journaler. And it's taken me a little while to kind of find that medium as well. I've tried all of the analog journals also, but digital planning is so fun for me. And I do that as well as my paper actual journals. And you'll see all of that from me in this channel. I do, like I said, most of these things, aside from the planning, which is out of necessity of just managing the chaos. The rest of this is purely hobby. It's purely for fun. And man, I just engross myself in it. I love every bit of it. I do journaling. I do junk journaling from time to time. I may actually have a video of that coming out fairly soon because I really need to dig into that too. I keep a prayer journal. I keep a diary per se. I do some watercoloring from time to time. I really just do it all, truly. And when I have the time, or when I really have something that I'm proud of or excited about, I will try to throw it into a video and share it with you all. So if this sounds good to you, if you are ready to just deal with me and my chaos, because that's kind of what this is, please join along. Please click subscribe, like my videos, and stick with me. My son thinks I'm really cool, and he calls me a YouTuber, so I got to make him proud. Anyway, that is a long intro, and I want to get into this, so I will do that. This is, first of all, just a leather. I made this. It's just a piece of leather that I bought from, I think this one honestly was from Amazon. So incredibly inexpensive. I added this little pocket onto it just from a scrap that I had cut off from the larger piece. I added the elastic. I added this cute little turtle charm that I found at probably Michael's. And there you have it. Oh, and I added this little pocket here in the back as well, so that I can stick my journal in it. Oddly enough, as simple as this is, I've made quite a few of these little planners. I actually made this guy too. This is like my my daily, like, just journal / diary type notebook. This is like the simplest there is. It's one of the first ones I made, and I really love it. It just kind of stuck. Things happen accidentally, I feel like, around here. But so this is my Wonderland, my 2026 Wonderland 222. It is the all-in-one A5 planner. And yeah, I've learned to love it. It's taken me a little bit of time to learn how I wanted to use it, truly. But I really have made it my own. If you're familiar with Wonderland 222, you'll get this kind of like vellum envelope when you order certain items from them, and I cut it and kind of gave it a messy ripped edge here and tipped it in to my book, as well as I think this is just a decorative piece of vellum that I glued onto that first intro page. I stuck on the stickers that they send with their planners. The other one I think is all the way in the back. Yep, right here, off camera. There you go. And then here in the very beginning, I dug pretty deep into Ryder Carroll's bullet journal for a while. I think that he's brilliant, and I love just the whole bullet journal concept. And one of the things that really stuck with me when I revisited all of my my love for writing and journaling was writing my intentions in the front of a notebook. And I got to tell you, I've gone through a lot of notebooks. I've tried a lot of different things, and the ones that I really think deeply about and write that intention for the book in the front, those tend to be the ones that I will fill all the way through. Those are the ones that stick with me. And then I also added this little quote by Patti Smith: "Every notebook is a possibility." I love that quote because I think that there's nothing more true, and it kind of speaks to that sheer excitement when you get a brand new notebook, and what can it be, what can you turn it into, and what's it going to hold. Okay, so the very beginning of this, I mentioned that I have 2 young boys, and so right off the bat, I used the index pages for kind of the things they say type section. And honestly, I'm halfway through the year. I'm probably going to run out of space and have to find more room for it, because my boys are 5 and 7, and they say a lot of things. A lot of things that I just want to remember someday, or that I know that we're going to laugh about, or that we laugh about right now. All the little stuff in here, for those of you who follow Wonderland 222 or know, what this book is about, there's a lot of stuff in here, like Year at a Glance. There's trackers in here that are really valuable, truly, for people who are using it as a planner. I messed around with it for a little bit, but I really don't use these pages, not for my journaling purposes. The months are also something that I kind of have played with. I really wasn't sure what I wanted to use this for. Ultimately, what it's ended up being is just kind of a high-level overview of the stuff that we have done throughout the month. The birthdays, the sleepovers, the events, that kind of thing. This was December, so, we had various Christmas parties and that kind of thing going on, but just a really high-level overview or a highlight of the things that have happened in the month. And then my weeks, gosh, my weeks are similarly, I wasn't really sure in the beginning how I wanted to use these, and truth be told, I think I've kind of gone back and forth throughout the entire year on how I want to use them, but ultimately it always ends up being the same. I use these as just quick little blips of events, little things just to help me remember the day or what it was. A lot of times I'll put the meal that we had that night, no cavities at the dentist, little things that probably mean nothing to most people, but are just enough maybe to look back and jog my memory. And you'll see that some of these weeks are jam-packed. You know, when I was really doing great with filling everything in and really focused on, you know, just keeping track of all of the little things that happen. You might see, I don't know how well you can see this. We have a dog, we have a cockapoo. His name is Sullivan, and I don't know how easily you can see that, but I used AI, seems like forever ago, to create this image of him, and oddly enough, it's absolutely fantastic. It looks just like him, and so I turned it into stickers, and now I use them whenever Sully has a grooming appointment, which is really fun. So I kind of skipped over some stuff in here. I truly am not going to go through every single page with you because I know that that can get pretty tedious. As far as the overviews go in this book, I think they're wonderful, but really I am not great at overviewing or reviewing my months. I find that I'm more steady in just recapping my memories, recapping the things that are important to me that I know I want to look back on. And the whole goal setting, I have my goals. I am not a goalless person, but I don't really focus on that a lot in my journal, or really even in my planners a whole lot. The month of January, I had a whole bunch of stickers, and I think I really just did not know what I was doing in the beginning of the year with these pages. So a lot of them are just random stickers. And you will see that, I mean, I don't know. I hope that chaos and haphazard is your thing, because that's kind of what my pages end up looking like. Every now and then I will do a doodle here and there. I am not an artist by any stretch of the imagination, but it's fun for me. I do love just playing around with my markers, and I don't know, kind of makes me feel like a kid again, just using my creativity. I usually do this at the end of the day when it's quiet. It's usually probably pretty late. Half the time I'm laying in bed and filling this stuff out. You'll see some of my months, really, most of the months in here are not very robust because I just have struggled to find a good place to, or a good way to really use them. But the weeks have been, looking back on it, the weeks have been really great. I've designed them in so many different ways that it's just fun to see all of the different spreads. I used a Hubman and Chub Girl, the jellies collection, and there's one from their Three Little Pigs in March release that came out. I thought that was just adorable. Some of these you can see they're lacking. They're not nearly as full as weeks before. And then you'll see I have some major breaks. I took some breaks in my weeks and was just doing more journaling, more long form writing. You know, sometimes I just didn't have time. Sometimes life was really chaotic. Or my mood was just, you know, down, and I didn't have it in me to recap the days. Let's be real. Sometimes you don't want to recap them, right? But I think it's important to not always put the I don't know, the sunshine, to include everything, all of the things in between too, because it's important looking back on it to remember, you know, everything that you were experiencing and still being able to see the beauty in it. It's something I'm working on for sure for myself. I really like these pages here. There's a lot less stickers here. You'll see, and a lot more just kind of color and writing, and I was really playing around with my markers and actually writing with my markers instead of my pens, and I think that these spreads actually turned out really cute. This one, I think what happened here is I didn't fill this week out at all. I probably had good intentions and started it. This, I think, if I remember correctly, was a board doodle type thing, And come the end of the week, I thought, well, maybe I should just fill in some stuff to highlight what happened. So that's what I did. There was a bat in our house. It was eventful and a little bit creepy. Let's see. So this is June. Gosh, which feels like yesterday. I guess it's not even June anymore, is it? Now it's July. But this is last month. And I got back into filling out my weeks here. I had a lot of fun. I was on kind of a watermelon kick for a while. So I had a lot of fun doing this kind of watermelon spread. My boys are Spider-Man fanatics, I will call them, but they are, and they have these Spider-Man costumes, man, and they have worn them. There's holes in the toes for both of them, but they are, as I mentioned, 5 and 7, and I think slowly possibly growing out of that Spider-Man phase. So they pulled them out. They haven't worn them in a long time, and I really just wanted to remember the moment. It was just one of those as a mom where you're like, you know what, this might not happen again, and if it does, it's not going to happen many more times. So I really wanted to remember it, and this is special to me. Another fun one, I was really having fun with colors, just using kind of a color theme in these weeks as opposed to, previous weeks where there's not necessarily, I guess there's kind of a theme there, but some of these are pretty crazy and haphazard. Okay, sorry guys. I don't know if you could tell, but my dog just went nuts. It never fails. Every time I film a video, I can always count on him to lose his mind over something. Anyway, yeah, so I was having a lot of fun with the colors here in these weeks and just kind of keeping up with a color theme. I also, I don't know if you have noticed, but I have a couple different types of photos in here. I have a Canon Ivy, and I really love using these. They're obviously stickers, but sometimes I want to add more copy or more, writing in here than I have room for if I wanted to add a sticker also. So in this case, I just kind of tipped it in, and the writing is underneath it, and then my picture is on top here. The other thing that I have, this is kind of cut, so I don't know if you can tell. Yeah, like these. I have a, I don't know, what is it, Fuji Instax printer. This was the first photo printer that I got, and I actually really love this too, but for the purposes of a journal, it's pretty bulky. So I really wanted to get that Canon Ivy because it's much less bulky when you're able to actually stick it on the page, and and you can cut it a lot easier too than you can these old, Polaroid type Instax pictures. So we're still in June. We're nearing the end. Gosh, we're nearing the end of June here. So a coworker of mine went to Japan recently and brought back, I don't know if I'll ever make it to Japan, but he did. And so I said, well, if you're going to go there, then obviously you have to go to a stationery store for me as well. And he said, oh yeah, my daughter has already threatened me. So if you don't go to that stationery store while you're in Japan, you're in trouble. So he did, and he brought me back some fun stuff. And this washi is one of the things that he brought back for me, along with some of these little stickers. I don't know. It was fun. And I actually really love the washi. I don't know if you can tell. It's got kind of, I don't know if you can tell. It's kind of gold foil on it. This is July. You can see that July is really not filled out yet, but there's a good reason for that. We just got back from vacation. We took, I don't want to call it a long weekend. It was longer than a long weekend, but not a full week in northern Michigan. We had a beautiful time. But because of that, I have not finished filling in the events for July. And I'll fill in more, obviously, as the month goes on as well, because I don't know everything that we're doing. But I just got these stickers recently. Esther case, I hope. Estera case. I don't know. I don't know if I'm saying it right. I honestly just learned about that shop very recently, and I thought that some of their stickers were really beautiful, and I got these. And with our northern Michigan trip, you know, we were on the lake, and it just seemed really fitting. Except for that says ocean. Ignore that. It was a lake, not an ocean. And then these, so this is a good example. This is our vacation week, just last week, prior to leading into the 4th. So this is a good example of how, I don't know, I like the flexibility in my week's pages, because this obviously isn't a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday spread. It's just kind of everywhere, and I guess that's kind of how I felt on our vacation, to be honest with you. Sorry, I guess I've been out of the screen a little bit. That's kind of how I felt on our vacation. You know, we lose track of time, we lose track of the days, and that's a lot of what it felt like. But I just went through my photos on my phone, and I printed small pictures of just the highlights from each day that we were there, and I just stuck them on here. And you can see the footprint that they leave is obviously much, much less than those Instax. I just, gosh, I love that printer so much. So this was a great way to remember our trip. And I'll also say that while I was on the trip, I started a travel journal. I've never kept a travel journal before, but I did, and I have a lot of ephemera from our trip that I kept in it. I kept a daily journal. I wrote in it every night at the end of the long day, and I'm so happy that I did, because there are just so many little things that, you know, take place when you're on a trip like that, especially with your family, that I think I otherwise would have forgotten. So one of these days, you know, if I go a few more places, and I'm sure we will, I'll continue adding to it, and I'll take you guys through the travel journal as well. And here we are. Here's this week, and I guess this is today, Monday. I haven't gotten very far, admittedly, but I will. Obviously, since I write about what happened, usually I'll fill it in at the end of each night, or sometimes I'll go back at the end of the week and fill out the whole week. But that's really what's been working for me. And then I guess I will move on to the daily pages. And I don't have to go through, obviously, all of these, but the daily pages I really used for, you know, just kind of elaborating on some of the stuff that I wrote about in my weeks. There's not a lot of space to write about the things that take place, but if there's more that I want to dig into, especially if it's something that, you know, was meaningful to me. I had my boys finishing preschool and first grade, and I wanted to talk about that, their baseball seasons, and things that I really wanted to just express my thoughts about and tell the story a little bit more in depth. That's what I used these pages for, and I really love how it turned out. I was doing some doodling. These were actually not with watercolors. Those were with my Tombos. I love this snail. I'm really proud of this snail, guys. Look at that. I guess I am an artist, aren't I? Yeah, I really love how these pages have turned out, and it's just kind of been, I think, a happy surprise, honestly, looking back through these pages. I think as I am actually completing them, maybe they don't feel so special. They kind of feel like just a rehash of the day sometimes. And sometimes it's a rehash of a really exhausting day, if I'm being honest. But other times it's very, I guess, it's poignant, and it's stuff that I want to make sure that I remember. I made this little pocket, so I did have this Instax photo, and I did not like how I didn't have room for it. You know, I wasn't sure how to use it, so I ended up making this little pocket here with Actually, it was one of my Wonderland envelopes, the vellum envelope. And I made the pocket with washi, and then I stuck the picture right inside there. And there it sits. This is from my son's first day of pre-K. Anyhow, looking back on these, even the mundane days, it's turned into something that I guess I really cherish. And I don't know if anybody is going to go back and read it besides me. I don't know if my kids will ever care to see it or if it'll ever make it that long, but I love it. And I haven't kept a journal. I haven't kept a real journal like this since I was young. I mean, it's been a really long time, but I definitely did. And coming back into this hobby as an adult has just brought me so much joy. And I hope you're there. If you're watching this video, if you made it this far, you probably are there. And I'm just really happy that you found my channel and that I found my people. And please don't hesitate to reach out and tell me, you know, if you found fun ideas for your journals, if you have questions about mine, whatever there is. I love how this has turned out, and I can't wait to show you guys the rest of it as we go through the remainder of the year. Well, thank you everybody for following along with me through this video. Like I said, if you made it this far, thank you very much. Please click like, subscribe, and no promises, guys. You know, I'll put more videos out, I promise. I don't know when. Maybe it'll be next week. Maybe it'll be tomorrow. Who knows? But I appreciate you sticking with me, and I appreciate you walking through this journal with me, and I will talk to you all very soon.